right? So waiters will wait forever. How do I know what time is too long? Well, everyone's different, right? How long is too long depends on where you're at in your business. Okay. Because, for some of you, the Melindas of the world, it's probably, a couple weeks, because she's got more leads. Some of you who are brand new, you might give a lead a little bit longer, like a week and a day. No, I'm just kidding, right? I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, because you have to, it depends on where you're at in your business, but figure out faster. So someone says, for example, we're thinking about selling. Great. What's the time frame? Tell me a little bit more about that. Where would you go? Okay. Like you got to ask questions. You got to figure out faster. Try to set an appointment. Be a little bit more aggressive. Well, I got a lead. I called them this week. How many times? Once. Did they answer? No. And you only called them once? Like, figure it out, right? Like, let's figure out if they want to play the game. Here's where, here's where, here's the worst place to be in when it comes to leads. Maybe the worst place to be in. Yes is the best place. No is the second best place. Maybe's the worst. If you don't want to buy or sell, that's fine. Buying and selling a house is a big freaking deal. Okay. I'm okay. I just want to hear no. So I move you off my lead board. I don't have false hope. Right. So, for a lot of you, what are things you want to remove in 2025? I would, remove hanging on to leads, right? Go get more, find out more people. But anyways, what are three things you want to remove in 2025? What are three things you want to add? So what are some things you want to add to your business? Do you want to, obviously AI is a big thing. Do you want to add AI? Do you want to add a different source? Do you want to add an assistant? Do you want to add, a CRM? Do you want to start adding social media? Do you want to add probates? Like, I don't know, but what are some things you want to add in your business, right? Going into 2026. And then what are your personal growth goals in 2026? Okay. What are some things you want to accomplish personally? Right. Whatever that may be. You want to learn a new language. You want to lose some weight. You want to, increase your, you want to learn some different things. I don't know, whatever it may be. But what are some personal growth goals you want to have in 2026? Let me ask you a question. Is there really any way to separate your personal life from your professional life? Like completely separate the two. Can you do that? No. The answer is no. Right? Kamai says it, right? No, you're right. There's no way to completely separate the two. Yeah, you got to have a little bit of balance, but there's no way to completely separate. There's no way that what's going on in your personal life doesn't have an effect in your business life, and no way that what happens in your business life has no effect in your personal life. Okay, there's just no way. So you need to also, we're feeding into business goals. You also need to have some personal growth goals in there, right? Because you've got to feed yourself. You've got to also expand your own mind, your own thoughts, everything within yourself as well. Because the more you do that personally, the better it becomes professionally, right? You've got to do both. There's no way to separate it. I've told this story a number of times, right? Like I remember my first real sales job, and my manager sits me down. He's like, "All right, Robert, when you come in these doors, nothing out there matters." And I went, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." So if I don't make any money in here, my wife can't get mad at me out there. Honey, I know we don't have any money, but that's an in there problem. That's not an out here problem. Does anyone think that went over well? No, no, right? There's no way to separate the two. Okay. So, what are your personal growth goals? All right. Good stuff. And again, if you have any questions, you want me to slow down or go over anything, feel free to let me know. All right. Now we get to list of goals. So I want you to check this out, right? We're going to continue on this, but I want you to see something here. We started out with your BFG, which is all kind of mindset, right? Mentality, all these types of things, emotion. We got a little bit into business, a little bit into business, and then now we're getting right back into mindset, mentality, and emotion. Okay. I want you to write down some list of goals, things you'd like to have, things you'd like to do, places you'd like to go, things you'd like to change in your life. Okay. Again, take a few moments to really put this together. And remember, be specific. What are some things you'd like to have? You know, is it, well, I want a new car. What car? Right? And when do you want to have it? Like, write it out. You know, the color, the make, the model, all those types of things, right? You want a different wardrobe, you want whatever it is. What are some things you would like to have? It's okay to get superficial, people. All right. It's okay. All right. List out some things you'd like to have. What are some things you'd like to do? All right. Alma, I'll get to that in a second. um, what are some things you'd like to do? Okay, in 2026, or just with your life, or things along those lines, right? What are some things you like to do? Places you like to go. Who here likes to travel? All right, some of you like to travel. All right. Get either put it in the chat box or unmute yourself. If you could give one recommendation to someone who's trying to figure out places they'd like to go, give a recommendation. What would it be?
Bakersfield.
All right, somebody mute Alex.
Brazil.
Can't take that guy anywhere. That's right, Valmar. Brazil. I see Tahiti, right? Iceland, Japan. Let's go, right? Italy, Maryland, Dubai. All right. National parks, Ireland. There we go. Ireland. I've been to Ireland 3 times. Love Ireland. Great job, right? Portugal, Greece, Monaco. Oh man, Monaco. Boy, if you ever want to feel poor, go to Monaco, right? Or get motivated. Man, that place. That is the most gorgeous place I've ever been, for sure. Monaco. Spain. Yeah, there you go. Australia. Outer Banks. The air is expensive in Monaco. Yeah, it is. It is. Right. Yeah, I went we I went to Monaco, and man, I mean, man, boy, I mean, you try to drive it. If you went there with a BMW, they would just drive it off the cliff. Um, El Salvador, right? So it's good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I would look for me, the taxis and Mercedes. Yeah, for me, like my obvious, my grandma. I have a German last name, but my Irish heritage is from my grandma. So I'm only, just 2 generations away. So I grew up more Irish. So for me, obviously, there's a little bit of bias of Ireland, 'cause I've been there 3 times. I love Ireland, and then Rome, because my favorite time period is the Roman Empire. So if I was to give 2 suggestions, it would be that, right? Or if you love scuba diving like I do, go to Belize. But there you go. So there are some suggestions for you on places I'd like to go. But put that in there, right? Like, traveling is fun, traveling is cool, right? And I'm glad that some of you put stuff within the United States, because some of you, you don't have to travel internationally, right? I saw Outer Banks, North Carolina. I saw Maryland. I saw the national parks. Like, you could, man, you could stay within the United States and really have a lot of fun. Hell, you could stay within California and have a lot of fun, right? But put some places in there you want to go, like, enjoy your life. I know it's funny because most people put together business plans and it's all business. And I'm sitting here talking a lot about non-business stuff, because you got to create some emotion. You got to create some motivation, some excitement, right? Cross country on an RV. You're on your own on that one. Rocio, you're on your own on that one. All right. I don't know about cross country in an RV. Maybe from Los Angeles to San Francisco. That might be my max. I don't know. But yeah, but anyways, like, you got to create some emotion with your business plan. This has to be fun. This has to be exciting, right? That's the only way business plans work. The reason most business plans get done in 2 minutes, get stuck in a drawer, and never to be seen ever again is because there's no emotion. There's no excitement. This business plan is to create excitement, right? I hope we're getting there on that. So places you like to go, and then things I'd like to change in my life, right? What are some things you'd like to change in your life? Right? Retire. Yeah, retire would be nice. Okay. But what would you like to change? You know, but put things that mean something to you. Like I'm not trying to be mean, but like if you put lose weight every year, at some point it's just not that important to you to lose weight. Okay. I'm okay. I'm okay if you're, Santa's, doesn't lose weight, and everybody loves him. So I'm okay if you don't lose weight. But like, I just hate it when people have that on their plan every year. Lose weight. It's like, okay, well, at some point, that's not that important to you. Right. Like now, if it is important to you and it's like you want to do it, then put it on there. Right. But what are some things you want to change in your life? And this again can be stuff where you could get like superficial, you could get emotional. This is your plan, right? I mean, I've seen people put on there, what are some things you want to change in your life? Is like, I want to have a better relationship. I kid you not, it's a true story, right? We had a guy one year who had a daughter when he was 18. The mom, and this is not a story I condone, but like the mom wanted him not to be a part of the kid's life. So she moved to her family in Tennessee, and the guy just kind of let it happen. Well, 25 years later, it just got to him. He just regretted it. Like couldn't believe that he just let it happen. So he put on his business plan things like changes. I would like to try to connect with my biological daughter. And he didn't get it that year, but he made the connection that year. He made the connection to the mom. He found out who found her and made the connection. And that year he didn't meet his daughter, but the next year he did. Right. And, they don't have this like amazing relationship, but they at least connected and, had lunch or dinner or whatever the case may be. So it could be really highly emotional, like things like that, or it could just be basic things like I want to get super fit, right? I want to, or lose weight. I want to do whatever it may be. So, but you got to create the emotion, the motivation, the excitement, right, within your life. Things that you want to change in your life. So, hopefully this connected with you a little bit. This is why, again, I say it doesn't have to take 5 days, but this shouldn't take 2 minutes, right? These are the types of plans that work when you're connecting to that type of emotion. All right, and then we kind of go down here more back to the sales stuff. Is distractions, because distractions are your distractions are your demise. Your distractions are your demise. So we've got to eliminate the distractions. So what have been my distractions? So this is a quick little sheet where you can identify 1 to 10. 1 is the least, 10 is the most. What are your distractions? And then what actions must you take to become more focused, right? Because if you want to hit your goals, we've got to control this. We've got to control your distractions. Now, I want to clarify something here on waking up late, because I get this a lot, right? I get this one a lot is, well, I want to wake up earlier. Okay, and here's my question to you all the time. Why? Like, are you waking up earlier because you think that automatically solves problems by waking up earlier? Or like, is there a real reason to do it? Because I say that because I hear that all the time. I want to wake up earlier. Here's the thing, folks. I get up really freaking early. Okay. I get up super early every day. It does not make me any better than anybody else that I get up so much earlier than everybody else. Does not make me an ounce better. Does not make me smarter. Does not make me more prepared. Does not make me a better speaker. Does not give me any advantage over anyone the fact that I get up so early in the morning. Okay. That's just what time I have to get up to accomplish everything that I want to accomplish in the morning at the pace I want to accomplish it. So if you are someone who gets up at 7 o'clock and you're like, oh, I wish I could get up at 5, it's like, why? Why don't you just get up at 7 and start your day, whatever time you start your day? As long as you accomplish all the activities you need to accomplish, you can still accomplish all the goals that you want to accomplish. Okay. Maybe you start later and work later. We have an agent in our company. And they might be on here. They'll know if I'm, because they'll understand. There is not a shot in hell I could pay them to get to the office at 8 a.m. There's no way. No way. They're going to show up at 10, 10:30, maybe 11. Okay. They're not going to get there at 8. There's no way. Not going to happen. But they'll stay later and they make a few $100,000 in GCI every year. So what am I going to do? Like, oh gosh, come on, get to the office earlier. No, I'm be like, all right, it works for you. Now there's some people that get to the office at 6:30, right? And they do this and then they make their money and so on and so forth. Everything works as long as you work. So I'm just bringing that up because when it gets to this waking up late thing, like you got to have a real reason, right? Because if not, like don't just try to waking up early because you think that it automatically makes it better. Okay. Like it can, but just do your thing. Do what you got to do. Right. Doesn't give me any advantage how early I wake up. All right. But yeah, look at some of your other distractions, right? And identify what those are. So one little thing I'll share with you. Okay, we're almost done with my portion today. So I know it's been a long class, but we're almost done with my portion. So a couple of things I just want to point out. Here's just a little tip for you. If you find your distractions are calls, text, things like that regarding, I already mentioned about like family and outside sources. By the way, when it comes to outside of real estate distractions, if you are letting anyone who is not directly impacted by your income impact your day, that's dumb. Okay. And here's what I mean. Here are the two people that are allowed to call me during work hours. Wife, daughter, list. That's it. And they know that I'm doing my job so that, we can have a decent life. So they know that unless it's an emergency, like they're not going to go. But that's the list. Like to the idea of like, oh, well, my cousin distracts me. Who gives a shit about your cousin? Why are you letting your cousin distract your business, your friends? Like people have no impact on your income and your life. Like that's crazy, right? Do not let those people get involved at all. All right. But now if let's say it's business related. Well, Robert, the problem I have is that, I get calls on my files and I got to respond right away and all these things, right? Anyone ever run into that? You feel like you got to respond immediately, right away, right? You got to do that. Okay. Well, what you have to do then is you have to train everybody who's involved in your business to follow your schedule. So here's what I mean. Create a schedule, right? We can help you do that if you need help, right? But time block everything, put it in like Google or whatever, something to where you can print it. Okay. And then you hand it to your TC, if you have an assistant, your title rep, your escrow officer, your mortgage lender, anyone that's involved in your transactions, they get a copy of your schedule. Okay. So they know, let's say, and I'm just using arbitrary numbers. You don't have to follow these times. I'm just giving you an example. Let's say that you want to do your lead generation from 9 to 11:30. Okay. That's your lead generation time. All right. It's in the calendar, 9 to 11:30. That's my lead generation time. You hand that to all those people and you say, look, here's the deal. I need to be distraction free from 9 to 11:30. So I would prefer it if you did not reach out to me during those times. And if you do not expect a call back until whatever time is in the calendar where you call people back. Maybe it's 1 to 2 is when you call back on your current files, right? So if you call me, TC, don't call me, barring like a real emergency, and you have to define what a real emergency is. Don't call me from 9 to 11:30. Don't text, don't email, nothing. I don't want any distractions. Okay, figure it out. And then I will get back to you when it's done. If you do that with them, they will leave you alone because they see that you're working. Okay, number one. And number two, it'll force them to probably solve a lot of the questions. Right? Has that ever happened to any of you where you did not answer something right away, and by the time you got back to it, someone else had already handled it? Right? Happens all the time. So train them to know that these are my hours. Because here's the thing. Let's be honest here. If we're being totally honest, all of the people I just mentioned are completely dependent on you generating more business. An escrow officer needs you to generate more business. Title rep needs you to generate business. Your TC needs you to generate business. Your assistant needs you to generate business. Your lender needs you to generate. All these people need you to generate business, which means they should be, not only should they obey it, they should be freaking thrilled and cheering you on to be like, absolutely, go get more business. I will not reach out to you during these hours. But if you let them do it, then they'll do it. So just give them your schedule and say that I need this time slot. Then you do the same thing with your clients. You have a buyer and seller, and you say, look, from this time to this time, I'm either looking for listings for my buyers or I'm looking for buyers for my sellers. I'm sure you would, when you and I work together, you would want me to do the same thing for you, right? Absolutely, right? So they respect it. So now they know that if they try to reach you during these hours, you're working on generating more business, and they know that you're going to get back to them from 1 to 2. But the key then is to give them the name, phone number, email address of everyone that's involved with the file and give them permission to call them. So, hey, look, from 9 to 11:30, I'm doing that. I reach back out to everyone from 1 to 2. However, if you really want to get an answer right away, and it's an escrow question, here's the escrow's number. It's a title question, here's the title rep's number, right? It's something about the paperwork, here's the TC's number. It's something regarding a loan, here's the lender's number. Again, all this stuff could be handled behind the scenes while you're lead generating, right? So keep that in mind if that's if that's one of your issues. All right. And then the last thing we wrote down here is getting the morning right before we go to the last part is you want to get the morning right. The morning is the most important part. I had a sales trainer tell me if you can master 8 to 12, the afternoon takes care of itself, right? So you want to get the morning right. So here's some ideas on just getting morning right: exercise, stretching, nutrition, meditation, prayer, whatever it may be, power questions, goals, affirmations, all these other different types of things. Listen to motivational recordings. Oh, you get those Monday through Friday. I got you covered on those ones, right? Planning, dreaming, brainstorming, all those types of things, right? Can get the morning going. All right. And then avoid these things: voicemails, text messages, emails, stocks, news, right? All those types of things. Try to avoid that in the morning. Okay. Well, why stocks, Robert? How would that impact anything? It's a mental thing, right? Because you check your stocks in the morning, the stock's not doing well, you're in a crappy mood. If you're in a crappy mood, you're not going to be prospecting at the highest level, which means you're not going to get very many leads, which means your results are going to be poor. If the stock goes up, you think you're rich, you won't prospect. so, so don't check your stocks. Simple stuff, right? All right. Good stuff there. All right. Very cool. All right. So let me stop here for a second. Question on anything I go. So one of the questions came in, going back to the very beginning, was, what does the F stand for on BFG? It's up to you, right? So it can stand for whatever you want. It can stand for, I always use the examples of big freaking goal, big fantastic goal, big fun goal. But we had some great things in the chat box: big fearless goal, big freedom goal, big fat goal, whatever. It can stand for whatever you want. Okay. Because I want you to have a part in this, right? Like create something with it. It can, if we're all adults, it can stand for big effing goal, right? We all know what that word may be too. Everyone's different. There's no right or wrong answer. You got to decide what it means for you. All right. Good stuff. Okay. So as I kind of wrap up here, and I'm going to post the business plan in the chat again. Couple things as we wrap up. Big financial goals. That's right. There you go. Right. It can stand for anything. So I want you to a couple things as we wrap up here, because then as you go to the rest of this business plan, you'll notice retiring rich in real estate. This is where Neil will pick up on Thursday. He'll go through the rest of this on Thursday. Fierce goal. Ooh, new one. Alma, fierce goal. Yeah, like it. So here's what I want you to, as we wrap up here, to think about this with this 2026 business plan. You'll notice, again, it's probably 65% mindset, emotional stuff, and 35% actual business stuff. Because never I mean, this year compared to many other years in 2026 is going to be very similar. I think it's more up here than it is here. Okay. You've got to create the right mindset. You have to have that motivation, that emotional attachment to it because it's tough, right? It's tough getting listings sold. It's tough getting these buyers off the fence. It's tough out there. Okay. And but so it's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to get annoyed. If you don't have it here, you don't have that emotion, that motivation, you're going to get frustrated. You're probably going to give up. Okay. But if you can keep it right in here and you have that motivation, that emotion, you can actually make a ton of money. We have some of you on this call, or it's the best years you've ever had. And that's saying something because some of you have had some really great years, right? So the opportunities are there, but you got to create it up here first, right? This is so important. That's why most of this plan is here. But then you get to the business side of it. Once you figure that out, now it's just that no matter what mentality of, man, I've got to go make this happen. So and this is kind of one of the last notes I wrote. I I won't say names because I didn't get permission to share it, so I won't say a name. But we have an agent who's a really great agent, and but wants to take their business to another level. And they said, well, how can I compare myself to? Why does this agent, and it's an agent that they know, they have a great relationship with, but that agent does a lot more business. What's the difference? And my answer was really this. I said, that agent that you're referring to, there's just no freaking way they are not going to accomplish their goal. It's just not going to happen. That intensity, that mentality they have, that if they've got to come in on a Friday and make 50 contacts, they're going to come in on Friday and make 50 contacts. If they got to do something on Saturday, they're going to do it. There's just no way if they need to get a listing appointment this week to accomplish their goals, they're going to get a freaking listing appointment this week. It's just not going to happen, right? That is going to happen. And that intensity, that motivation, that emotion, that's what takes that agent we were talking about to a whole other level. And so everyone's got to connect to that at some level on the business side of it, right? It's just you just got to be able to go get it, right? Whatever it takes. But the opportunity is there. So I want you to take some time, fill this out, and then the last thing is you have to give it to somebody because you've all heard me say this a bunch of times. John Maxwell says goals that are not made public are useless. Now, I would prefer if you gave it to me or one of our sales leaders, right? Whoever your director is, your advisor, something, because then we can help you accomplish it. We can hold you accountable. We can go through these things and say, okay, great. Like you said, you wanted this. You said you were going to do this. Like we can help you with those types of things. That's what I love the most is the building aspect of it and getting in the weeds with the agent. So turn it into somebody. I hope you turn it into one of us so we can help you get there. But if you don't, that's fine. Turn it into somebody. So if somebody has this in their possession, right? They know the goals that you set. They have it. And that's a terrifying thing. Okay. I did years ago with Mike Ferry at coaches. He wanted the coaches to learn the Mike Ferry sales system better. So I decided to make a video going over each point in the sales system. So I made 21 videos going over each point in the sales system, suited video, the whole thing, the camera, the whole thing. Now, I guarantee you, Mike Ferry watched zero of those videos. Okay. Zero. Okay. But the fact that he had them in his possession and could watch them, every single one of those videos was A plus. Right. I had my notes, I had my scripts, I was freaking ready to go. Okay. Because he had them. So it's the same thing when you got to give your plan to somebody. Questions on anything we went over? No? All right. All right, everybody. That's all I got. I appreciate all of you for being on here. Hopefully you got some good thoughts, good nuggets, good points for your business plan going into 2026. If I missed anything, feel free to let me know. Reach out to me, reach out to our team, anything we can do. And gosh, I got to tell you though, I'm so fired up for 2026 because I see a lot of people, a lot of companies struggling, and I see the opportunities for us abound. So I can't wait to see what you all have planned for your business. So, all right,
Great
everybody.
nuggets covered. Great
All
nuggets.
right. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right,
Robert.
everybody. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, Melinda. Greatly. Thank you for everyone.
Thank
in the
you,
chat
Robert.
box.
Thank you.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome. You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. This is
Good
what I
job,
love
Bob.
doing.
Good
This is my
job.
favorite part of the job.
Obrigado.
My favorite part of the job. All right, everybody, let's go. Let's go get them. And make sure you're back here Thursday at 12:15 because you don't want to miss Neil's class either. It's absolutely phenomenal. So we're pushing, baby. We're working. All right, go get them.